Am I the asshole for telling my husband and ILs they should have been honest instead of letting me embarrass myself and make others uncomfortable? I grew up in a difficult home. I grew up not eating well. I was given food that most people would not consider edible, but I only recognized this after several years. It has impacted my ability to tell via taste. I struggle to recognize when something doesn't taste good. I'll eat something most people would be disgusted by. I have learned how to cook as an adult, and I have asked for my husband and his family to be honest if something wasn't good. They told me it was good. They have always eaten what I cook and said nice things. My husband's parents hosted a dinner party recently and asked each kid/IL to bring a dish. I noticed right away that my dish was a struggle for other guests. It was the only one being somewhat avoided or ignored on the plates of guests, and then someone asked who the hell cooked it because they wanted to get sick. I apologized and said I had no idea it was bad. I was a bit of a mess, honestly. I took the rest of my dish up and tossed it so nobody else would, accidentally or not, grab any. A few guests apologized for not eating it, and I said it was fine. I offered to let them dump it on my plate. Things grew tense. One person felt unwell after it. I felt so upset that my husband and his family placed me in that position. They know I can't tell personally. Yet nobody said my cooking was bad or that I shouldn't bring a dish. I told them when everyone else left that they should have been honest instead of letting me embarrass myself and make others uncomfortable, because clearly people were unsure what to do about the dish I brought and were trying not to offend. I told them I had asked for a reason. I want to learn and do better, but I can't if they lie when asked. Some of my husband's siblings said I should never expect that from them, and I was trying to make them behave badly. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for cutting the amount I contribute to our budget after my wife refused to stick to our agreement regarding our kids? My wife and I agreed before we got married on a lot of the big things: where we would live, how we would deal with our families, how we would raise our kids, stuff like that. Deal breakers. One of our decisions was that as long as our kids were full-time students, then they would not have to contribute monetarily to the household budget. Obviously, they would still have chores and such. If they weren't full-time students, then they would get a 6-month grace period, after which they had to pay rent and buy their own food. Rent would be equal to 1/4 of full-time minimum wage work. We agreed on this in 1998. Our eldest did not want to go to university and used the 6 months after graduation to work, save money, and plan a trip around the world. When he got back, he started an apprenticeship and is now a welder. Our middle kid went to university and is now a nurse. Our youngest did 1 semester of college and decided it wasn't for him. He also decided that he didn't want to work. After 6 months, I told him that he was now responsible for his rent and food budget. He went crying to his mom saying that he couldn't afford that. She said he didn't have to pay. She didn't discuss it with me first. It was a unilateral decision on her part. She pays all our bills. I give her a set amount every month to pay for everything. The money she earns, she either spends however she wants or it goes into our vacation fund. So I decided to cut my contribution to our budget by the cost of rent and 1/3 of our grocery bill. She asked me why I did that, and I said that we hadn't agreed that she chose to ignore, so I did the same. She has been paying the difference out of the money that would normally go into our vacation account, and she cut back on her personal spending. But she is pissed that I am doing this. She says I'm an asshole for being financially manipulative. I think she needs to either accept it or get her poor baby to grow up. She tried getting our older kids on her side, but they agree with me. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not giving my daughter money to buy food since she won't talk to the college desk to fix her food card? Edit. I can't believe I have to say this. I can't force an adult to do anything. I don't have that power. Also, please read comments before an info. It probably has been answered. So, my daughter recently started college in person, and part of her expenses is covered by a meal plan. She is 19, and her first year of college was commuting because of her anxiety. She decided to go to college in person this year and is staying in the dorms. The problem is her food card isn't working. It's something that can easily be fixed by contacting the college dining services, but she refuses to go talk to them. She needs to get a new one since this one is bent. My daughter has pretty bad anxiety, especially around making phone calls and talking to people in authority. I've told her repeatedly that all she needs to do is go to the dining services office, but she won't do it. As a result, She's been skipping meals and calling me, upset that she's hungry. I have expressed multiple times that she needs to handle this and go talk to the people. I've refused to step in and handle it for her. I got a call today asking me to give her some money to buy food at Walmart. I told her no and told her to go talk to the people. This resulted in an argument, and she thinks I am being a huge asshole. My spouse thinks I'm being too harsh and send money or fix it for her. Am I the asshole for telling my parents that I will only support them if they move back to their home country? My parents moved to North America from a developing country when I was 4. My siblings were 2 and 6 months. My dad worked hard to make a life for us, and my mom worked hard making sure we didn't waste the opportunities they were providing for us. They also sent money home to help my grandparents, sometimes to the detriment of our family here. My sisters and are all married with families now. My parents are getting ready to retire, and they want us to supply them the way they supported our grandparents. The problem is that we cannot afford to pay for everything here. Even with my parents' savings and my dad's pension, they cannot maintain the lifestyle they have while my dad works. However, with their money and ours combined, they can live like gods back home. We could sell their house, use that money to buy them a villa in a gated community. They could fly back to see us all the time. They could literally live in the top 1% there instead of scraping by here. The only problem is the grandkids. They want to see them all the time. They think that my sisters and I are exiling them. We are offering them a chance to have great lives in a country with no snow, where food costs are 1/4 to 1/6 those here, where the healthcare is actually rated higher than here. We are looking at the next 20 years. When everything is said and done, I offered them the exact same amount they sent their folks. It will buy their groceries every month, and that's it. They think I'm being stingy and mean. Am I the asshole for shouting at my husband for locking me out of the house? This one is pretty simple. Most days I get home before my husband. He has a habit of putting his keys in the door when he gets in. Thing is, even if he gets home and realizes I'm not there, he doesn't bother to remove his keys, and even when unlocked, you still need to use the key to get the door open. So when I get home, I can't get the key in to open the door, leaving me stuck there waiting for him to come let me in. Today, I didn't have to wait too long, but in the past there's been a few occasions where he's been in the middle of doing something, so I've been stood there with no way to get in until he finishes and can come open the door. I've told him enough times, if I'm not home, take his keys out of the door. Is that really too much to ask? So today it happened again, and I blew up at him. He started shouting back at me how he's only been home a few minutes, but I just told him, K off, I can't be bothered with this. I'm regretting being so blunt with him now rather than trying to resolve the situation, especially with it being so trivial. But then again, I've already asked him enough times not to lock me out. So I leave it to you, Reddit audience. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not letting my son see his grandparents after they said he should be ashamed of his black features? I am 28, am half black and half Mexican, and I have a 5-year-old son with my ex-girlfriend, who's Korean. Our relationship ended a while ago, but we've always tried to co-parent and keep things civil for the sake of our son. Lately, though, something has been bothering me. My son has started acting more self-conscious, especially about his appearance. He's got my curly hair and darker skin, and it seemed like he was starting to feel uncomfortable with the way he looks. A few weeks ago, I figured out why. During a visit to his mother's parents, his Korean grandparents, I overheard them telling him he should be ashamed of his black features. They told him he'd be more handsome if he looked more Korean and suggested that when he's older, he should straighten his hair and stay out of the sun so his skin doesn't get darker. I was furious. My son is only 5, and for him to hear that from his own family is unacceptable. I confronted his grandparents immediately, and they tried to excuse it, saying they were helping him because life would be easier if he looked less black. I told them that's racist and harmful, especially for a young kid who's still figuring out who he is. When I got home, I called my ex and told her what happened. I said that her parents were no longer allowed to see our son until they changed their attitude. She wasn't happy about it. She agrees that what they said was wrong, but she doesn't think cutting them off is the solution. She says our son should still know his Korean family and culture, and that her parents might change if given a chance. Now, My son keeps asking why he can't see his grandparents, and my ex is mad at me. She says I'm being too extreme and that I'm making things harder for our son by keeping him away from part of his family. But I don't want him around people who will make him feel ashamed of his black heritage, even if they are family. Am I the asshole for not letting my son see his grandparents after what they said? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to not sit on my chair? My boyfriend, 24M, is fat. It's just a fact. He weighs around 242 pounds, 110 kilograms. He doesn't like to admit that he's fat. We've been living together for 3 years and dating for 7, and I've never seen him without a shirt on. That's him. Well, recently I, 23F, have bought an ergonomic chair for myself. With my money, made specially for short people and all that. It was pretty expensive, over 1.5K. The recommended weight limit is 100 kilograms. My boyfriend sometimes sits on my chair, and I always calmly ask him to not do that, not saying anything about the weight limit because anything that he can remotely link to the fact of him being fat is already a reason for an argument. He did it again today, and I once again asked him not to sit on my chair. Well, this time he snapped. He called me selfish. He says that he shares everything that belongs to him with me, which is true, and I can't do the same. I never talk back, but I'm on my period. Judge me, IDC. So I got annoyed really quickly and said, my issue is not you using my stuff. My issue is you sitting on my chair when you're over the weight limit, and if you fuck up my very expensive chair, you wouldn't fix it. Now he doesn't want to look at my face or hear my voice. I acknowledge that I may have been harsh on my words, but I spoke them in the most calm way possible. I was just trying to explain why I don't like him sitting on my chair. Am I the asshole? Edit 1. I chose to buy a chair he can't use because I work from home while he works at an office for 12 hours a day. Also, the chair is made specifically for short people because of the back support. Regular ergonomic chairs will have their lower back support almost at my shoulder wings. I need a specific chair so that the ergonomic part of it works for me because I am a short person. Edit 2. The weight limit was known to him because he helped me set it up and he read the manual. Edit 3. Someone asked me to do this, so I will. I also have scoliosis, tongue sticking out. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my friend's wedding at last minute if they don't change the groomsman's outfit? I, 20M, got invited to be a groomsman in my close friend's 24M/23F wedding and was elated. My friends are both fashion designers, more artistic photo shoots than commercial. So they said they were going to design all of the outfits to suit the person wearing and asked me if I'd be down. I said I'd absolutely love it and to feel free to do whatever, but I did say that in the context of capes or high boots. Also, on season me is a vain idiot who's far too comfortable with his looks. The summer passed and they talked about a few of the outfits, but we're keeping most of them secret until the fall. Cool. Friday, they finally sent out the info to make sure everyone knew what they were wearing. I love the design of mine, except for one detail. They didn't give me a shirt. So, for context, I'm a photography and swimsuit model. People do take pictures of me shirtless a lot, but fall is my off-season, and I'm not in good condition right now. I don't think I'm overweight or anything, but I don't look good, and I would really like to wear clothes right now. I told them basically that this looked a little cool for a fall wedding, and I wasn't in great shape to wear it. They said it'd be fine and I should just go for it, and told me about how much work they had put into designing it. I told them again that I just don't feel alright wearing it. Reality doesn't work like staged photo shoots. My abs look awful, and since I'm the only one that doesn't have a real shirt at all, it feels uncomfortably sexual. They got kind of mad and said that if I was so flustered by my weight I should go on a diet. I told them I'm not a stripper and hung up. Yeah, mature. I know. They did text me after to apologize for the diet comment, and I apologize for the stripper comment. The other problem is that apparently they've designed the bridesmaids and groomsmen's outfits in pairs. Viola is wearing something designed to be balanced with mine. She gets a shirt, of course, but it was designed to go with mine, and she's super into her outfit and seemed pretty upset when I said I was trying to get mine changed. I get throwing a shirt or vest of waistcoat or something will throw off the composition, and they've only got 3 weeks to plan and make it, but at this point I just don't care. But Viola's awesome and looked genuinely deeply upset, and she wasn't the one who decided to plan this, So I feel awful about how it'd affect her if I drop or refuse the outfit. I asked Lono they put a lot of work into this and probably aren't trying to be remotely creepy, so I don't know why I'm reacting this bad. I'm just hurt they didn't care more about me than about their designs. But at the same time, I'm being irrational and those outfits definitely took months to plan and sew. Help.